From a young age, I've been interested in history, but not just the dates and events, but the why behind them. I wanted to understand why people acted the way they did, who influenced whom, and which decisions shaped the world we live in today. But the answers we got in school did not fully satisfy me. Like many children, my first major historical fascination was ancient Egypt. Its culture and innovation amazed me. And even if ancient Egypt didn't capture everyone's interest, one person certainly did. Cleopatra. Now, how many of you have heard of Cleopatra? Right, as I thought. And how many of you have heard her described as seductive, dramatic, or manipulative? Right, as I thought. So that image follows her everywhere, yet she was highly educated, reportedly spoke several languages, and ruled Egypt with real political intelligence and strategy. Her alliances with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony were not just romances, they were political decisions. So why is this side of her story so often ignored? This pattern does not disappear as we move forward in history. When we think about the wives of Henry VIII, we remember them through a simple rhyme: divorced, beheaded, died. But does anyone actually know who these women were? Take Catherine of Aragon, Henry's first wife. She was married to him for over 20 years, and while Henry was away, she ruled England as regent and helped defend the country against invasion. She was well educated, politically capable, and respected by foreign power. Yet today, she's only remembered as the wife Henry wanted to replace. So once again, a woman's political influence is overshadowed by the relationship she had to a man. Now let's move to the late 18th century. When we learn about the French Revolution, we learn about kings, constitutions, and political thinkers. But let me ask you this. Do you know why the royal family suddenly moved from Versailles to Paris? Right. Well, in 1789, about 7,000 women marched from Paris to Versailles to protest the rising price of bread. Their determination forced the royal family to move to Paris, putting the royal family under direct public scrutiny and influencing the course of the French Revolution. Even with the importance of this event, it usually doesn't get mentioned in history lessons. Even when women enter historical accounts, their actions and what they contributed are usually are brushed over and are only remembered by certain myths. Take Marie Antoinette, for example. She's still linked to the phrase, "let them eat cake," a phrase she most certainly never said. So her influence and her position during the French Revolution is just completely overshadowed by this myth. So 3 years after the march, a woman named Mary Wollstonecraft in England published a vindication of the rights of women. She argued that women deserved respect, education, and independence, ideas that were radical for the time. Today, she's remembered mainly as the mother of Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein. But she's not remembered as one of the founders of modern feminism. The Industrial Revolution, which followed, is usually taught through innovation and economic growth. But behind this progress were women and girls working in dangerous conditions. The Matchstick Girls protested against industrial abuse to expose exploitive labor practices. Their determination and their activism caused the improvement of workers' rights. And even because of that, And even with that, they don't get mentioned, not even in lessons. And so you might think that this problem belongs in the past. It doesn't happen anymore, but it does. Albert Einstein is remembered as one of the greatest physicists in the world. Oh, sorry, I just forgot something. So there's a well-known saying that is, behind every great man, there is a great woman. And at first, it sounds like a compliment. But if we listen to it a bit more closely, it also suggests something else, that women are supposed to stay behind, even if their influence is just as strong. Which brings me to the example that I just wanted to bring, that Albert Einstein, as I said, is remembered as one of the greatest physicists in history, but far fewer people know about his first wife, Mileva Maric. Well, during their marriage, they worked very closely together. When they divorced, due to Albert having an affair with his cousin, they reached an agreement. If Albert were to win the Nobel Prize, he would receive the recognition, and she would receive the financial award. Even today, her contributions still remain debated. Some try to argue that she didn't do as much because her name only appears in Einstein's early work. But even Einstein said in regard to Mileva, "I look forward to resume our new common work. You must now continue your research. How proud I will be to have a doctor for my spouse when I'll only be an ordinary man." So there must be a meaningful connection between her, their shared work, and the achievements that then led to the Nobel Prize. Critics also tried to discredit her by pointing out that she failed her final exam in mathematics twice. But let's be honest, try passing applied maths while being pregnant with bad morning sickness, and we'll see how that goes. So, what can we do about this? We may not be able to rewrite textbooks, but we can change the way we approach history. We can start by asking better questions. When we study a powerful historical figure, especially a man, we should ask, who stood beside him? Whose work supported his success? Whose voice might be missing? Another step is to actively seek overlooked stories, to reading beyond textbooks and questioning familiar narratives. This could look like talking to your parents or your grandparents and seeing who they know. So it's reading beyond textbooks and questioning familiar narratives. This isn't about placing women above men, but about realizing that history has always been shaped by more people whose names appear most often. If we only highlight certain people while leaving out others, we're left with an incomplete picture of humanity. To truly understand history, we must question the stories that we've been told and understand that history is not just shaped by those who fit a certain narrative, but it belongs to everyone who shaped it. We must see people for their ideas, their courage, and their impact, and not their gender. Thank you.